Hello, everybody. Welcome to this meeting, and thank you for July for having me here. And I'm so honored to be able to present some of the things that I do here in LA. I'm gonna skip the video, so I'm just gonna talk about my intro. So yeah, I was born in China. I came when I was 9, and we moved around to Hong Kong and Canada, with my parents, and then we settled here in '93. And so, even though my math wasn't that great in high school, I was a B average student. I love space. I watch, Nova and other shows growing up, and I just have a love for deep space and physics. But I didn't have the math to go to school for it, so I did not have a STEM background. I just got a liberal arts degree at Pasadena City College way back, and so I just been doing astrophotography since 2022 during the blood moon. When that happened, I thought, yeah, I got enough pictures of the moon. I want to learn to do deep space. So I went to YouTube University as well as Facebook University and learned everything from there. I had an early mentor that kind of helped me out uh, through Facebook Messenger. So we were just talking, and he was helping me with some processing. His name is Chung Nai. You might have seen him in Facebook groups, but he's a pretty well-known astrophotographer in LA. I've been learning, and I'm still learning. And just here's a little some of the adventures and photos I've uh, uh, experienced so far in my little early career. As an artist, as an astrophotographer, and as a speaker. So I'm getting more speaking engagements coming up. So I'm excited for that. I might have missed a couple of images in the slideshow, but it was just so much. I was just gonna cover it a lot of ground today. So I hope you guys enjoy. So here we go. Okay. So this photo, I'll start with this one. This is not captured from my backyard. This is, I think this is only one. I captured this one in Whittier, California, which is 10 minutes from the house. Since I can't see downtown from my house, I wanted to capture A6 lemon. It was actually at the peak of brightness, and so I figured, you know what, I want to see this over LA. Since I couldn't see it during sunrise earlier in the summer, that's the time I go to bed. So I saw this after, about 8:30 in the evening, later on in October. So I went to a hill. I'm 1,000 feet up. I just brought my Canon camera. I didn't even bring my whole telescope. I shot it with my Canon M6 II at 135 millimeters. This is 100 shots. The foreground is a single 2 minute 2 second exposure, and then the comet is 99 photos at 2 seconds untracked on a tripod. So the interesting thing was this was right after the Dodgers World Series Game 3, which is the longest game in history, and this looks like a ball out of the solar system. So I thought that was really cool. So something that kind of resonates with LA being, Los Angeles also being one of the hubs of astronomy and the space industry. We got, SpaceX, Space Force, Caltech, Mel Wilson, Griffith Observatory. So I figured, this represents LA quite well. And here's some of the photos here from my camera. You could see downtown LA here towards the camera, and then there's Dodger Stadium is actually right in the center. You can see that bright spot. That's where they were playing. You got Griffith Observatory, and then you got the Hollywood Hills. You can't see the sign, but the hill is right there. This is 13 miles away. And, you can see the comet there on the live view 10x on the bottom right. And speaking of comets, I was able to capture the interstellar comet 3I Atlas. This was a treat for me because I was not planning on actually shooting this because since this discovery in July, it was just all cloudy and rainy, pretty much all season here in LA. And so due to its small size and speed, I didn't think of capturing it. But during the night of the December 19th, that was when it was closest approach to Earth, and actually the skies opened up. So I figured, you know what? I have no excuse. I got one shot at this. Let's make it happen. So I was able to capture about yeah 71 shots, 90-second exposures with my 4-inch budget refractor, and so this was a real treat for me. Wasn't thinking of it ever going to happen, but that was fun. You can see some of the light pollution here in LA. It's obscene. Yeah. So here's a wider shot of the field of view. This is annotated, and there's about 72 galaxies in this photo. And then this is my earlier in 2023 when I had the my first solar eclipse. I used a white light filter for this on my C6. It's another budget secondhand scope I got, and my first time imaging the sun, and was able to get a couple of sunspots, so that was exciting. Here's the horse head and the flame. I think it was about 9.5 hours of imaging. And then there's California, mostly hydrogen. I just used a light pollution filter for this one. This was before I got into dual narrowband, so this was quite basic. And then after about 2 years of playing with freeware, I decided to upgrade to PixInsight. So I wanted the best program, the best tool for the job, and I figured I need to learn this if I want to get any better at imaging here, especially with the bad skies here. So I want to try to pull as much data as I can from the imaging. And so for those who don't know, PixInsight is one of the top astrophotography processing software out there. It's so good that NASA uses it for their James Webb and Hubble images. And there's over 250 tools. You got to learn how many tools to use to process your photos, what order to use those, and also how many and how much and which order. So it's very complex. I spent over 3 months on YouTube watching videos, just trying to learn it, and watching those lectures. Sometimes you'll fall asleep, you'll rewatch it again and again, or just trial and error. So just a lot of huge learning curve. I dreaded this program since I did not want to touch it when I started, but eventually I knew I needed to learn it. So I'm still learning it, but I think I got a pretty decent handle at it. So the following images will be all processed via PixInsight and nothing else. So no Photoshop, no additive AI, nothing like that. So it's all pure PixInsight from this point on. This is the Pleiades star cluster right here in LA. So I was able to get some of the dust lanes here. Was able to show some of that. And then this is the SHO of the Rosette Nebula, also known as the Skull. It's pretty popular at the street fair when I sell my art. A lot of kids like this one. Here's M31 Andromeda, our closest neighbor. I did a bunch of different exposures for this one because I don't want to overblow the core in the highlights. So I was able to get some 3 minutes, 4 minutes, even 5 minute exposures on the edge there. And I was able to add some narrowband data on there with hydrogen alpha and oxygen 3. You can see some of the nebulae in the pale light green spots on the top, a little bit on the bottom, and also the hydrogen in just throughout the edges there. This is the Seagull in HOO, about 8.5 hours of imaging. This one, the head looks like a parrot, but you got the wings like a seagull. They're all 5 minute exposures with this one. Here was this little test shot between targets I did just for fun. I didn't have time to get any more data on it, but I only got 28 minutes on this, and it's just the power of the 7 nanometer filter, and the PixInsight was able to extract as much detail as I can to get this one. And this is a raw stack of M16, the Eagle Nebula. So some people at the street fair ask me, how do you, what does it even look like, with the raw data? So here's my raw stack, about 7.5 hours of imaging with a 7 nanometer dual band filter. And this is in PixInsight. After the stack, no touch-ups as of yet. You could see some of the dust motes right here on the bottom right. And so this is untouched. And this is after many days of processing using PixInsight and in the SHO Hubble color palette. And so it hit me kind of different because I was able to see this and then look at the Hubble photos, and it was really exciting. I couldn't believe I was able to get this detail using PixInsight, and it was just a huge milestone for me. So that was very gratifying to be able to get this here in LA. And here's a little comparison with my little budget C6. So it was heavily cropped. I just want to crop just to have a little fun little comparison to Hubble, just to see what can you actually see here using a little 6 inch. And then here's another little comparison. I met somebody at one of the street fairs, Stephen Lord. He's also an astrophysicist. He worked for the SETI Institute, and he saw in one of my Orion photos that, hey, you got some proplids over there. I was like, what's that? He goes, yeah, proplids. They're baby solar systems being formed, and I think you got a couple of them in your photos. And so I went back home and I reprocessed one of my Orion photos using PixInsight because before I just used free software. I was able to get more detail, and those are the little green arrows point to where those are. I'll try to process as close to Hubble as I can on their photo. This is their photo. And there's Stephen Lord. He gave me his card. And so he has a huge CV list of things he has learned and taught. And so that was very encouraging to see him, to hear him make, some suggestions that I should look into this. And so it's a little fun little side project, to being acknowledged by an astrophysicist in the industry. And then here's a raw stack of the Running Man and Orion, about 9 hours, dual narrowband. And yeah, this is what LA Bortle 9 sky look like with 9 hours of data here. And then here it is. This is after processing. This was a really fun one. This one is really tricky, as you can tell. Many more experienced than I am know that Orion is very hard to process to get the trapezium and not get overblown, not overblow the core, but still get the wispy, faint, dust, especially towards the center and lower center. I was really happy with this one. And then this is my newest edition. This is a 2.5 inch, 65 millimeter quad astrograph. It's a budget from Astrotech. One of my wide field views of the lagoon, Chinese dragon, and Triffid. It's about less than 2 hours of imaging. And this is one of the first photos I got using that little scope. And another fun little comparison, I was able to compare it just for giggles with the Vera Rubin. And more recently, the new Hubble image of the Triffid with the little snail-like antennae on the top right corner. I went back to my data and see I didn't even notice that. Let's see what I can find. So I just kind of play around with the color palette and just to see what can be seen. Obviously, it's really blurry, so no APODs there for sure, but it's a fun little color comparison on my wide field with the Hubble and Vera Rubin. And here's the Vera Rubin, all the technical stats, and this thing is amazing. I mean, look at that camera. It's huge. And yeah, they got about 7 hours on that thing, so it's a lot of data. And this one is very interesting. So it's one of my milestone project. It's actually my longest project to date. This is a single sub, 2 minute sub of the Jellyfish Nebula, so also known as a supernova remnant. So raw stack, you can see the dust motes, you can see the gradients and the coma and all that stuff. And this is after PixInsight. This is 13 hours of imaging, 5 hours, 5 minute subs, and 2 minute subs. And this is the raw stack. You can see the color gradients with the narrowband filters there. And this is fully processed. I got photobombed by an asteroid, which totally ruined my photo. Not so me and my friends were actually looking at this. We're like wondering, what the heck is that? It's not a plane, it's not a satellite, it's not a comet, just based on the shape and the color. And we're wondering what is that thing? And people at the street were, is that a scratch on your photo? No, that's not. So my friend told me about looking up on the NASA database. So I figured, you know what? No way. He said, yeah, try it. You just need some coordinates and the timestamp of your photo when you took it. And if it's in the catalog, it'll pop up. So I was like, well, why not? Let me go back to the data. So I actually shot this. I went back to look at the data about a year after. So I used Stellarium, so dial back the time, find the exact spot where the photo was, the time that I took the photo, and grab the coordinates using Stellarium. So this is Stellarium. Top right corner is a single sub. I was actually in the middle of changing filters from broadband to narrowband. So uh, this is a 2 minute shot. Just so happens I caught the asteroid on the bottom of the top right photo, and then on the left is Stellarium, where I grabbed the coordinates, ran back the time. You could tell on the planetarium there, you could barely see the jellyfish nebula. So I wanted to do it justice to grab like 13 hours. It actually took me a month to capture all that. And I ran it on the NASA database, and they gave me the orbitals, which has just blew my mind. I was like, this is actually an asteroid. So I went to the NASA small body database where they tracked all the asteroids that are known. And so there it is, 2008 TT-113. I had to Google all those because I'm not astrophysicist, so just to see what all those mean. So there's actually two things missing from this data, and I noticed it didn't have a picture, and I want to submit my photo to JPL and see if they want to update their catalog just for fun. And I also noticed they didn't have a size listed. With the data I have, they could actually figure out the size of this thing, just the sensor size, the distance, between, it traveled across the sensor, my focal length, the speed, they know the speed. It's going about 21,000 miles an hour or so. So I hit the contact us page, but nobody answers us. So I need to talk to somebody and see if they could kind of send it to the right department. But this was one of those crazy things, like you never know what you're going to capture. So this was a really fun one. And here's a Cygnus loop, also using that 2.5-inch astrograph. So yeah, this is not much data, but it's yeah, uh, about 36 minutes, I believe. So yeah, this is narrowband 7 nanometer. And here's a pretty shoddy helix, but it's only 42 minutes. This was like a little test run. I didn't have much time to capture this. Pretty noisy. I was able to resolve the white dwarf there in the center. Here's a triangulum. And then this is the North America. This image is actually shot with a 3 nanometer filter, one of the new ones. and it's actually really budget. It's called Scorpio. It's pretty much almost like a no-name brand, but it did pretty well. So got almost 8 hours of imaging, and so this is, let me see here. And then this version is the same data with the SHO color palette. Kids love this one because if you turn it sideways, it looks like a blue elephant in landscape mode. And then here's some of the adventures I get to go to, meeting people in the industry. I actually decided to join the LAAS. I needed to join some professional organizations, so I figured, why not LAAS? So I joined as a new member back in April, and so I just saw that they have their Centennial coming up, so I decided to email them to get some details. And so actually the VP replied the day of the event, which was nuts. Laura May. She actually replies that, hey, we got a couple of reserved parking spots up on top of the hill. You wanna take them? I was like, what? A brand new member, never been to any meeting. So I feel that should belong to everybody else that's going. They're putting out 100 telescopes on the lawn for the celebration. She says that just come up, just tell the security you're here for the pass. I was like, okay, sure. So that was interesting. So there it is. Of course, we got a cloud party. Why not, right? 100th year. And so we're gonna have clouds, a little bit of sprinkling, but most of the time it was just overcast. The guards removed one of those little cones so I could park there. I just walked right up. I did not know a single soul on the lawn there, but I figured I should start meeting some people. So, and here's one of those veterans that he ground some of those glass for telescopes. He teaches a class there. They used to grind mirrors underneath the observatory at Griffith. And on the left, you see the Hollywood sign there. That was the same shot from the first photo. You see the little hill where the Hollywood sign is. And Griffith Observatory, that's a closer view here. And there's a lot of people there. And then also a lot of media was there, a lot of internet publications. CBS was there. And there's more people there. Everybody's bringing their rigs out, so I was just like kid in a candy store looking at everything. And then they got all the proclamations from the city, from the district, and so they got some speakers representing Catherine Barger. You got also the mayor of Monterey Park, where Garvey Ranch Observatory is located. They spoke, and we got a proclamation from them as well. And you see that cameraman right there? If you zoom into that, the person on the viewfinder is actually Laura May. So she was being interviewed about the event. So I was like, yeah, we need a photo. So that was a fun little shot there. And then there's a president of Griffith Observatory, and that plaque is a fake. So obviously it's not going to be that light. That's just a prop. So they're going to have that 100th celebration plaque inside Griffith Observatory once it's completed. And then here's some of the proclamations. Oops, let me go back. And this gentleman, he built his own refractor back in 1973 from his garage. So he mounted it on a Volvo. This is his third vehicle that he mounted it on. Yeah, I think the weight might have something to do with it, but yeah. So since it was cloudy, we were looking at people in Santa Monica Pier at the Ferris wheel. So that was pretty nuts. And we got a VIP here. So we have Tim Russ, also known as Tuvok on Star Trek Voyager. And his earlier role in Spaceballs, he used to comb the desert. So I'm not sure if he's still finding anything, but yeah, that was his role. And he's also a local LAAS member, and he's very passionate about astronomy, and he's a character for sure. Like I said, you never know who you're going to run into, right? Here in LA. Let's see here. And then another astrophotographer, Rafi. He got a big one over there. And then some space industry encounters. So this is cool. So this guy I met at the street fair, Mike, he actually worked on the near infrared camera for James Webb. He gave me one of the washers that got rejected due to not meeting spec, and he's like, "Here, have it." And I was like, "Cool." So this was at the Culver City Art Walk. So I do some art festivals and stuff like that. And this is Ben. Ben met me at the Monrovia Street Fair, which I've been doing outreach and selling my art for the last 3 years for every Friday. And he came across my booth last fall and he said, "Hey, my name's Ben. I work on the TMT. Do you want to see it?" Like it didn't click in my head what he was actually saying to me. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, sure." Because I meet a lot of people from, from industry. And I was like, "Okay, cool." But he really admired my stuff. And so he's like, "I've been in the industry for 20 years. I've never seen the stuff that you do here, especially like in person." So it made an impression on him. And a couple weeks later, he came back to my booth again as I was before I was setting up at the street fair, and he's like, "Hey, you want to see TMT?" Then I realized, okay, this guy's legit. He's for real. So I took up his offer. I dropped everything right there on the street. I got the neighbor vendors. They're watching my stuff. I left for 20 minutes, a block away at the lab. He gave me a private one-on-one tour. So there it is. One of the sections. This cell holds 7 mirrors out of 492. There would be 70 of these cells connected together to make uh, TMT. So this is one of the labs. Those mirrors on top, they are mock mirrors. They're not actual mirrors. Here's one of the test benches. They test, all the electronics and all the it's adaptive optics. So I think it moves a nanometer or a micrometer. I can't remember what how much it actually moves, but it's going like hundreds of times per second. Here's for scale. Here's a single mirror. It's about 1.4 meters. And those little rectangular cutouts on the corners, those are where the sensors go. This is a rendering of what it looks like once it's completed. It's 14 stories tall. The platforms on the sides, they're actual tennis court size platforms. So you can just imagine how big this thing is. And Ben actually designed and worked and tests TMT and GMT. He's on both. So GMT is being currently built right now. Since TMT is on hold with the location and the budget thing, Spain is pitching the Canary Islands as an alternate location other than Hawaii. And Ben is back at GMT. He's doing the utility side of GMT now in Pasadena. There it is. There he is. We're at AAS 248 at the Pasadena Convention Center. They're wondering how the heck did I get in? I have no affiliation. So I was able to bum a guest pass off the front desk. Just walk in there confidently, said, "Hey, I'm meeting Ben," and so they just kind of let me walk right in. So here I am with his booth there. Uh, I felt like James Bond going into one of those hideouts or something. Let's see. Mingling with NASA Goddard, was able to get some merch for the street fair, and then checking out all the crazy cool stuff they have in there. And here's some connections with Caltech, Astronomy on Tap. They have that every month at the Doghouse in Pasadena. And this is actually during the astronomy City of Astronomy week at Pasadena during the LAAS or the AAS 248 meeting. Here it is in front of the Doghouse. You got me. We got Keith, which is the president of LAAS, another veteran member in the center, and we got Evan. He's actually one of the guys that operates the Chara at Mount Wilson with the seven scopes with the vacuum tubes. Here us at night here with the addition of Cameron Hummel. A typo on his name. There should be an L at the end there. He runs the Caltech Astro, and he's the computational astrophysicist, and he's been doing outreach for 20 years here in LA, among many events. And so it's really cool to be able to work with him and also with Keith. And so I thought we need a picture. So that was a fun night. And some star parties. So the Centennial at Griffith, that was my first star party. And this is yeah, on Tuesday, during the astronomy week, there's Ben dropping by. I told him, hey, you should come on out. We're having AAS is throwing a star party right outside after the convention. We got Keith there representing, and then I introduced those two together. And the lady in the middle, she's also one of LAAS members. She got scope number 31 out of 100 that was brought out to Griffith. And this is me first time doing a star party with the actual rig. So I brought my rig out to the public for the first time. And so, yeah, quite nerve-wracking, right? Not sure if it's going to work, but I was able to get some stars there on my screen there. It's an imaging rig, so I don't really have eyepieces, so I just do what I do. So I just put it on the screen and let people take a look. And this is the crazy one. So the Silver Lake Star Party, which is about 10 minutes northwest of LA, they have star parties that are 2,000 people deep. The one right after the Centennial, they had 3,000 people on the block. They almost got in trouble with the city with the parking and just the amount of people there. There were over 20 scopes. People would line up and just kind of take a peek at the eyepieces. With vendors, DJs, bands, food trucks, like you name it. It's a huge public outreach. Yeah, it happens every Thursday, but each month they have a huge one. So I was able to go as a spectator. I didn't want to bring my rig out because I just want to experience it for myself first. There's more of that. And here's Bobby. He's actually the organizer for Silver Lake. He's been doing this for 3 years, putting this out behind the scenes. So he's one of the big shots here at LAAS. And obviously Keith, he brought the biggest scopes. He got I believe it's a 16-inch Dob. And he got the longest line with the biggest scope. And he's representing. We got more people here. Smart scopes worked best here because, yeah, you were able to do some live electronically assisted astronomy through the screen. So that definitely helps with the light pollution. And here's, again, at Caltech Astro with Astronomy on Tap. This was during December when I first started going to those monthly meetings. They have speakers. 15-minute speakers, two per night, and get to meet a lot of people, see those people lined up to look through that Dob right there. And here's another star party. She looks familiar. So that was a night where July was talking about, well, I was late to the new member star party. I was doing art fair out in LA, right across the street from LACMA and across from the Peterson Automotive Museum, where they had the D line that just opened for the LA Metro. So one of the organizers I worked with before emailed me and said, "Hey, do you want a free spot?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I was out there all day, and then I figured, you know what, I need to show up for this. And so the last 30 minutes before the party over, I brought my photos. I figured I was going to give these out since I didn't bring anything for the potluck. So, and then here's the artistic side of my astrophotography with the art industry. I was able to get in a couple of galleries and just expanding the different venues and to just for outreach and also as a artist career. It's kind of go hand in hand. But when I first started selling my art 3 years ago, I didn't know how much people are actually interested in buying astrophotography prints or as fine art or even as art prints. So there is a demand actually. Before I started this, nobody, people online said nobody's going to buy astrophotography photos. They could print it off on the internet, but nobody really does it. And to be able to speak to the artist and understand the process and to like know how things are done, especially here in LA, it adds a level of curiosity and just a lot of curiosity from people about astronomy, especially with Artemis 2 and we're going back to the moon again. So there's a huge renewed interest in space. And so this is a great opportunity to just kind of share the hobby. Uh, this is the Cygnus loop using it's a OHH color palette, which is not the typical color palette you see. So it's kind of inverted. So it's a little artistic rendition of it. Here's a HDR moon, a three-shot composite. This is actually my top selling photo. People love that Death Star vibe on this one. And so I would explain to them, this is not a single shot. You're not going to see it like this in real life. And here's a Star Trails. I shot this one at Crestline. So I call this the Starry Night at Crestline. It looks like a little Van Gogh-esque kind of a vibe to it. It's about 15 minutes of imaging of Polaris. And the moon was out, so it really lit up those trees. And some art exhibitions I was able to get into using astrophotography. The Chino Hills Gallery in Chino. This is at one of the big outdoor shopping malls. So uh, the I spoke to the director and I say, "Hey, are you guys interested in astrophotography? I got some photos." So I sent him some photos via email, and so he said, "Hey, can you bring these two?" I was like, "Sure." So I brought those two pieces. These are on Chromolux metal pieces. I brought them in. They're 18 by 24s. He looked at them for a few minutes and says, "Hey, hang it up." I was like, "What?" So he told one of the volunteers to go hang these up right in the front window there. I was shocked. I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I like it." I was like, "Okay, all right, let's go sign the contract." I was like, "Deal." So there it is, the Eagle Nebula and also the star trails. That was a first major win at art gallery for me. There it is, a close up of those two pieces. And then here's another place. This place is in Glendale. It's a private gallery. They do different shows and have three of my pieces up there. Actually, more, six of them. And then this is during the exhibition. They had a couple hundred people there throughout the whole night, and I was explaining to people like how I shot the photos and what I used and all the processes behind it. And and then this is at my optometrist here in Chino Hill. So I asked him, "Hey, you got some blank walls in your uh, waiting rooms and checkup rooms? You interested in some of these photos?" Like, yeah, sure. So the owner bought a couple of these prints. And then this is for the America 250 celebration at the Chino Hills Community Center through the Chino Hills Gallery. So they sent an email, hey, you guys interested in exhibiting works that are related to America 250? So I had a mineral moon photo that I took back in 2022. So highlights the titanium in the blue and the rust iron in the rust color there. So this is on a metallic dye bond print. So the space part is matte, but the moon is actually silver. So you can see the reflection off the window there. So I figured, you know what, this is with Artemis 2, what a way to celebrate America 250 with this mineral moon photo. And here it is at the Downtown LA Art Night. This has been going on for about 3 years. Once a month, they're revitalizing downtown LA, which is for the last, during COVID and all that time, a lot of the storefronts are boarded up. A lot of like theaters and, just a lot of the streets are pretty much dead. But they are actually bringing LA back into the community where there's over 60 venues that are participating. The Broad. Also, Mocha is also in it. A lot of the museums and Grand are also participating. So there's theater, there's music, there's bands, grand performances, open air, comedy shows, a bunch of galleries. So they're bringing art back into LA. And so she's one of the producers of Art Night. Emily, she's great to work with. So I'm at the historic Spring Arcade building. So it's always fun to be able to see people and meet people from LA. And then a couple of publications I got in. I can't read Chinese. I think I only know a few words how to read it. I speak it fluently, but this is a World Journal. This is actually one of the largest Chinese publications in the U.S. So this is on their online website. I got a phone interview from them, and so I was able to tell them about all that. Sorry. Finders Ascend, I got an interview from them as well, and also Art Studios, the lab that makes my art prints. They did a full-on interview. I think it's a 9-minute read on their website, on their blog page. And then some of the organization. So this kind of concludes the slideshow. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them over.